What TV or movie glitch drives you insane? Deleted. Every time someone wakes up in a hospital, the first thing they do is rip the fourth out of their arm. Sneaky helicopters. The ones that suddenly appear with a great wall of sound 10 foot in front of the movie's protagonist without warning. Infinite gears and car chases, and constant rev increases. That moment in a race/chase scene where someone gets passed up, hits the gas pedal a little harder and speeds past them. Why the duck weren't you going that fast in the first place? What annoys me is when someone is driving a high-class Mercedes or something that can go 0 to 100 in 8 seconds and that beat-up black van that is following them must have a Aston Martin engine or something, because they always catch up for bumps and whatnot. We have to go now. Why? What's up? There's no time. What's happening? You're not listening. You could have already said the reason. People's inability to wait for backup. Come on now. Backup should be here any minute. Duck it. I'ma do this on my own. Eat lead cockroaches. If the good guy is shot in the torso, they never, ever die. I mean, the good guy rarely dies in any movie. But if he's grasping anywhere near his shoulder when the bullet hits, I won't be surprised to see him alive in the final scene. Crime procedurals where an off-topic conversation with a random secondary character makes one of the detectives realize what he needs to solve the crime. Hey Jim, how was your day? Great, Mike. Except when one of my students growled at me for waking him up during class. Haha. Growled at you? Wait. The dog that growled at every police officer at the crime scene didn't growl at all during the 911 call the Vic made before he died. He must have been killed by someone the dog is friendly with. The only person that could be is the next door neighbor. I gotta go Jim. Thanks. Boy meets girl. Boy tells girl lie to impress her. Boy and girl fall in love. Boy tells girl truth. Our entire relationship is based on a lie. Did you ever even love me? When a cop is close to solving a case, he'll be suspended from duty, which he'll ignore, and then get his job back with everything forgotten once he solves it. Don't forget the promotion he receives. What really gets me is that the situation happens every time. Police Chief Daniels. Despite the fact you have been correct on the previous 20 cases, I'm still going to call bullshit on your hunch about this case. Apostrophe. That in a dangerous situation that involves family, the kids start doing stupid things. Ducking kids should start listening to their parents. Oh, and when they are on the run, the wife always falls or does something she thinks is best for the situation. Edit all the examples below. I conclude that if there are smart-ass kids in the beginning of a film, they have to be shot in the face for the sake of the movie. I'm a paramedic. On TV or the movies, the EKG monitor goes flatline and they immediately shock with the paddles. You do not do this. In fact, when you shock, you make the heart flatline, stop the heart, in hopes that the natural pacemaker in the heart will regroup and start firing in a normal manner. Also, the loud thump sound you hear when they fire the defibrillator and shock. You may hear a click sound, but that's about it. The good guy can always fight off multiple attackers. Why are they just standing around watching their buddy get beat up? Why are they taking turns? Look, they're just standing there. Attack him. It's the perfect opportunity. Oh, great. Now he's beating you up because you wouldn't attack when you could have had some assistance. Edit. My real complaint, besides only attacking one at a time, is what the bad guys are doing when they aren't attacking. Running around for no reason. Falling down. Unable to stand up after being tripped. etc. It also seems that if you see your buddy is about to be defeated, you would rush in to help or take over. When the science guy is explaining something to the main character using complicated technical sounding terms, the first response is always some variation of English. Please? Young 20-something-year-old with a low-paying job in New York. Let's have that character live in a giant apartment right in the middle of Manhattan. Wherever you need to go on this planet, there's always an available and wide open parking space directly in front of your destination. walking away from an explosion and not looking back. Just one time I want to see someone get hit with some shrapnel that would have missed if they had cowered slightly. When pregnant women go into labor, OMG, I'm having one contraction. Everybody freak out and run me to the hospital immediately because this baby is going to fall out of my vagina in 3 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't work that way unless maybe it's her 4th or 5th pregnancy, but it never is on TV. You usually are in labor for at least 6 hours, up to 40 or 50. Plenty of time to not panic and get your ass to the hospital. Every movie being set in a parallel universe where there is no movie industry, or at least no movie that is even remotely similar to their situation. That way people can be blissfully ignorant about the cliches they are in. Edit. Okay, stop with the superhero movies. They get a pass. And, as someone mentioned, if they are smart, they can do it like Hellboy and be awesome. We are talking about the more generic stuff like zombies and shit. This is easy for me. I can't stand that 8 to 14-year-old kid who gives the main character really deep and down to earth advice like, she's your soulmate, right? Go after her. Modern Family abused this formula with Manny quite a bit, but they managed to put a bit of irony behind it. It doubles in annoyance when the main character gives an astonished reaction to their surprising amount of insight. It gets me so mad. It's like a requirement of modern horror movies that someone at some point exclaims, "What do you want from me?" People being illogical and stupid just to further the story. The Walking Dead, I'm looking at you. Especially in sitcoms, when one character asks another character to step aside so they can talk in secrecy. Mofo, you are literally 3 feet away from the guy you're trying to hide the convo from. That happened in Friends a lot. In Monica's big, open plan apartment, can I talk to you in the kitchen? Wouldn't want those living room guys hearing you. 3 feet away. To be fair, I think they made fun of it themselves once. Seem to remember Chandler shouting for someone having a hushed conversation nearby to talk louder because they couldn't overhear when they lowered their voices. The scientists that get to work on the most expensive space exploring mission ever suddenly become blatant idiots, remove their breathing helmet without knowing if the air is breathable, or start touching the carnivorous plants. Will they, won't they? It's why I stopped watching Grey's Anatomy. Stopped watching because of all the frequent awful crashes and acts of misery. Is Seattle going through its own personal ducking apocalypse? Edit. A word. Ancient world equals pure white marble statues. If you see a perfectly white Greek or Roman statue, it's either a modern one, or some idiot curator thought it was dirty and scrubbed the remains of the original paint off. Also, every single trap and mechanism in a 1,000-year-old tomb is still in tip-top shape, except for cobwebs. Person 1 admits to being in love with someone to person 2. Person 2 is crushed because they were in love with person 1 until they find out that person 1 means them. Edit. So, this has become my most upvoted comment. You only get one shot is all I need every damn time. 3D computer operating systems and hackers who hack some super high-end encryption in 10 seconds while getting a blowjob. So, you just have an issue with swordfish. Then, seems oddly specific. I can't remember a movie where there wasn't a love interest. I watched Hot Fuzz last night. I'd forgotten how refreshing it was being able to enjoy the movie without some menial romance thrown in there for the sake of it. We Germans are always their bad guys, have no sense of humor, and are very rude to other people. Duck this shit, duck you all. I hate this. Every time a World War II movie comes out, they make us Germans the bad guys. Every date in the USA ever has started by someone picking up someone else at 8. No, never just coughs. If someone coughs, they'll be in hospital in the next scene. Same for scratching your itching arm or sneezing. Cocking the gun that has already been presented as a threat. Click. Oh, now I mean business. Two people finish having a conversation at a table. One walks to the door. They appear to be about to leave. But then, they stop and turn on their heel. They've thought of one last thing to say. And everything changes. We've got company. Jack Bauer doesn't piss or poop in 24 hours. WTF. That's why he's so angry all of the time. Pretty girl plus glasses plus frumpy clothes equals nerd slash losomaki of a time. Removes glasses. Changes outfit. OMG. She is beautiful. What a surprise. I can't believe how much films or series teach medical nonsense. No. Don't try to pull off a knife. It may increase the bleeding. That's sometimes a good idea to make a tourniquet. But if you don't tighten it really hard it will not work. Oh, and on the forearm slash lower leg it's useless. Do it above. Electric shocks are useless. If the heart stopped, it can only save you if the contractions are ineffective. But you will not be able to make the difference. So if there's no pulse, use the defibrillator. I think they use defibrillators in both cases in the US. But it never made a heart restart. Why the duck would anyone do an adrenaline shot in the heart? I'm French. Sorry for my bad English. Completely unreasonable women. I consider myself to be quite a reasonable woman. I don't mind if my so watches porn or whatever. And I understand that he is human and can therefore make mistakes, but a lot of women in these films are so goddamn unreasonable, refusing to listen, refusing to understand, and whatnot. It really bothers me. Whenever someone ducking knocks on the door or rings the goddamn bell, if the person doesn't answer the door in 1 second they knock again and again. It's not a cliche, but this goes to movies as well. No one ever makes a mistake while talking. Unless the character is known for doing that in an exaggerated way. It's just flawlessly read scripts with no natural mistakes. The conversations just flow perfectly, all the time. Edit. I was thinking more about bad pronunciation errors than improvisations left in film. But they both fit in mistakes. I was just rewatching Louie the other day, and I realized Louis C.K. lets this stuff slide. I'm assuming for the sake of realism. Characters stutter and pause and trip over their words all the time. Every video game has Donkey Kong or Pac-Man sound effects, and is only about getting the high score. This includes modern games like Uncharted and Final Fantasy XIII. It's raining. So something sad's about to happen. Everyone lives in New York City. Everything happens in New York City. Every needs to go to New York City, or get out, or find themselves, or find someone else, or become famous, or just barely get by, in New York City. The way in sitcoms, that men are terrified of any confrontation with their wives. Looking at you, Deborah Barrow, new bitch. Thank goodness Al Bundy combated this to the best of his ability. Finally, we escape the haunted woods and can hide from the serial killer in this shack. Snap, what was that? I'd better check it out. Wait here. When someone draws back on a bow to shoot an arrow and the bow makes a creaking sound, a real bow does not creak. If a bow creaks, it's time to get the duck out of dodge before it explodes in a shower of deadly splinters. Dad, but son, you're giving up on your dream, son. No dad, I'm giving up on your dream. The dumbest dad who would burn water if left alone in the kitchen. He has no idea how to talk to the kids and spends all the family's money on stupid shit. Good thing he has an attractive wife to pull it all together and clean up after his worthless bumbling ass. She is such a saint to put up with him, because although he's a total failure as human being, he means well. Girl comes on to guy. Guy doesn't want any of it. His real love interest walks in at the wrong moment, assumes the worst, and doesn't let the guy explain. Californication did this, and all it took was Hank to just walk away rather than let that slut all over him. The bangin' sexy bitch always falls for the average looking dude because he's nice. There's nothing wrong with this in and of itself. The problem is that it never goes in the other direction. The guy only ever falls for the girl after she accidentally stumbles into the perfect lighting in fully done hair and makeup. Wow. Never saw you that way before. You telling me you had these big boobs, perfect eyes and gorgeous ass this whole time. Such realism. I'm sure this will get buried, but I hate it when someone gets a gift in a TV show. It's never wrapped like a gift. It's always just a box that looks wrapped, and then the lid just comes right off. I'm not sure if it is a cliche yet, but it's getting incredibly common now. People don't say goodbye or any other kind of final statement on the phone anymore. It's alright. Just get that down the lab. End call. Rude bitches. Learn some manners. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Goodbye. I wish they could extend those scenes just for the person who was on the other end of the phone and their reaction to the person hanging up. It's gotta be done. Hangs up, of course it's gotta be done. Wait, hello? Are you ducking kidding me? Who the hell just hangs up without saying bye? Why am I talking to myself now? Hello? Hello? I can hear you breathing, you son of a bitch. Answer me. Politicians not listening to scientists who have dedicated their lives to understanding the very phenomena they are dealing with. Oh wait, that's actually pretty accurate. Never having to reload. Seriously, the gun never runs out unless it's pivotal to the plot. They do a tactical reload by pressing R2 twice in rapid succession. Moving the steering wheel all the time while driving on a straight road. Oh yeah, you and what army? I've never heard that phrase used by anyone in real life, and it's always followed by the revelation that the person has a huge army. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.